Good evening, everyone. Today I'm here with another new topic from M.Ed Semester 3, Course 231 SB. For this is particularly for the syllabus of West Bengal, Baba Saheb Ambedkar Education University. So today my topic for discussion is issues and concerns of pre-service and in-service teacher education at secondary and higher secondary education or higher secondary level. So we know that there are two modes of teacher education program. One is pre-service and another one is in-service teacher education. Starting from nursery till higher secondary for teaching not up to higher secondary, for the teaching at college level also we see different teacher education programs. So after the implementation of those teacher education programs, maybe for a nursery or for teaching in colleges, B.Ed colleges or teachers training institutes, we see it is not always a smooth, it is not always a perfect one. Sorry. There are many issues and concerns arise after the implementation of those programs. So here particularly we'll discuss about what are the issues and concerns we see at secondary and higher secondary level. For higher secondary and secondary teachers, for preparation of those teachers, what kind of issues and concerns we see. Let's discuss one by one. First one is not enough monitoring of teacher education institutes. Once the program is implemented, like B.Ed program or M.Ed program by NCT under a particular university, there is not enough monitoring. There is no such as an agency which will monitor the courses or the implementation of those programs regularly. Maybe monitoring is there, but that is not that frequent or that strict monitoring. So teacher education, the quality of these education programs and institutions are going down. It is not maintaining that quality because there is not enough monitoring of those programs. Second one is shortfall in the selection process. While selecting the candidates or students for those teaching program, there is no standard selection process. Means you are having a particular percentage of marks, you apply and you will see yourself in the merit list, and accordingly you will get the institute or college for admission. There is no such there is a shortfall in the selection process. So recently in the National Education Policy 2020, they have strictly mentioned that the selection process should be a fair one, and it should be a standard selection process, like National Testing Agency. They will conduct a centralized, or they will conduct a common entrance test for selecting the candidates for B.Ed and M.Ed programs. In West Bengal, we see there is B.Ed, there is no entrance, no such entrance, but for M.Ed, there is recently in last 2 or 3 years, they have started, university has started a selection entrance exam. Through that entrance exam only, candidates are selected for this program. So overall, there is a shortfall. Third one is lack of regulation in demand and supply. There is no such record is how much we demand our teachers, and how much there are vacancies, and what should be the supply. Sometimes it is demand is high but supply is low, and sometimes maybe the supply is so high that there is no such demand. So there is an imbalance between demand and supply. There is no such information or no such data where we can see that how much it is demanding and how much there will be a supply of the teachers, qualified teachers. So that is also another issue. Fourth one is insufficient arrangement of student teachers. Student teachers means those who are trainee teachers, their arrangements or their the facilities given to them, and overall arrangements. For example, if they are staying in any boardings or any other facilities, mostly in private institutions, self governed institutions, or self financed institutes, we see there is the arrangements are not sufficient in many cases, because those are maybe many for many issues like lack of funds, or no fair means institutional arrangements, and they are not doing, the management is not doing it properly. There may be some unfair practices. For many reasons, there may be insufficient arrangement for student teachers, and the student teachers may suffer for all those poor arrangements. Number 5 is inadequate provisions for professional development. Teacher education program, that is B.Ed and M.Ed, these are all professional courses, and professional development is the ultimate goal. Teachers should be professionally skilled, pedagogical skills development, and overall the teaching skill development. That is the ultimate goal of this program. So if there is inadequate provisions for professional development, there may be, for example, if we take the in-service teacher education, we already know, in our previous videos also we have discussed that in-service teacher education program, what are the programs like workshops, seminar, conferences. So if the institute where a teacher is working, if institute is not arranging, or it is not following the rules of the government rules that you have to regularly attend those professional development programs, then they will be stuck in that, their development will be stagnant. They will not grow further. So that is another issue in this teacher education program, mainly in service teacher education program. Next comes problems during hands-on experience like internship and practicum. We see in our 2 years B.Ed and M.Ed program, there are lots of practicums, and also the internship is the major part of this overall teacher education program, B.Ed and M.Ed. But problems doing hands-on experience means most of the time, particularly in this 2 years course, students take those practicums and internships as just for doing it and for getting the degree, somehow completing the practicum, not giving enough effort for these practicums. Or internship program also, they are somehow not attending with the right teaching learning materials, or without learning designs, they are completing the stipulated the program, and ultimately they are not getting that experience they should get, and that skill is not developed in them at the end of these programs. So that is another major issue, which is internship is the main thing in this program, and if that is not done well, that is not done properly, then that is a big concern in this program. Next is problems in supervisory role. For students going for internship or practicum, doing practicum, teachers are their supervisors, they will guide them properly, but if the supervisors are not doing their role in the right way, then students will suffer. So that is another issue, that supervisors are not doing their role properly. So that also, that consequences are students suffering. Number 8 is flaws in concerning papers. In many papers we see that the curriculum is not structured properly, and there are many things which are not needed for the current educational practices. That things are not necessary anymore, but still those topics and those contents are there in the syllabus. So that is also another issue in this program. Number 9 is poor academic background of student teachers. Due to the lack of proper selection process and anyone having a 55% marks or less than that, they are getting admission in such courses. So students from poor academic background also becoming teachers, and many a times where there is no other option left for career, when someone has tried every other option, better option for them, which they find better option, and teaching for them is the last option left. So when there is nothing to do, they come for a B.Ed program and then for M.Ed program, and ultimately they becomes a teacher. So that also affects this whole system badly. So that is another major concern. So it's the duty of our policymakers or NCT or the institutes or the universities, so how to bring the best students or the most intelligent one in this profession, how to make the teaching profession as their first choice, so that we can see their contribution in the classroom, and which ultimately will lead to a better society and better teaching learning. Next is faulty instructional method. We teachers often are following the traditional method. We are with a rigid mindset that we will not go with the latest changes, what the current society need, or what is the technological advancement. We are hesitant to learn all those, and we follow all the traditional methods. So that is another issue, that instructional method, if it is not attractive, it is not if it fails to motivate the students, that is also a major concern in this whole program, in this teacher training programs. Next is quality concern of the course. Again, almost repeating the number 8 point, that quality concern of the course. Course should be study or research should be done on the existing course, and it should be updated time to time. It is not like that for the last 10 years we are following the same course curriculum. You will see that the best institute in our country, what is their main funda for their to becoming the best, because they are doing research on their courses. What is the market demand, accordingly they are modifying their courses. They are not with the same course for the last 5 or 6 years or 10 years. They are modifying according to the market demand. What market needs at this moment, accordingly they change in the curriculum and they add those things in the curriculum. And if we are going with the same traditional life for the last 10 years, we are following the same curriculum, there are so many things which are not necessary anymore, and our students are learning all those, cramming those things and just writing down in the exam papers. So that will not help them in getting any job and to become successful in their career. So quality of the courses matters. That is also another big problem. The next one is insufficient and outdated curriculum. This curriculum the different universities are following, sometimes it is found that it is not sufficient, not enough information is given in those curriculum. It is not covering all the important informations, and many a times many informations are there which are not anymore needed. Those are outdated, and those informations are there in the curriculum. So that is another issue, that we are reading, writing for exam for the sake of the degree, that which is insufficient also, and at the same time there are many things which are outdated also. So that is another problem. Next is inadequate empirical research. Maybe if we take starting from action research or any other research in educational research, day by day we see the quality is not that much. The quality is of low quality research is going on. Many institutes, many universities are offering many research degrees which are of not a quality one, which somehow PhDs are people are doing their doctorate, which are not contributing, those studies are not contributing anything for the society, for the development of the educational process, educational practices, and they are also for their own benefit or the own professional growth. They are getting such degrees, and the quality of those research is very low, and it is also inadequate. The amount of research and research should be done in educational sector, it is not up to the mark, especially in our country. It is not a quality one, and it is insufficient also. So we should focus more on the research part of our in education sector. Next is less emphasis on subject knowledge. When we entered the B.Ed program, we know that our professional skill is developed, our teaching skill is developed, and another thing we know that our pedagogical skill is developed. But in all those skill development, we somehow forget our actual subject knowledge. Like we are more focusing on the methodologies, the method of the subject, how to teach that subject, but the subject knowledge that is not practiced in those programs. Like in M.Ed there is no scope for your subject knowledge, but in B.Ed also the method paper you see your more focus is on the methodology. That's why it is called a method paper. How to learn the different methodologies of this subject, and less emphasis is given on the subjective knowledge. Like if you are a life science student, you will learn more about life science and less about how to teach life science, but less about the subject life science. So that is another issue. Institutes are less equipped with necessary resources. Not all the institutes are run by the central agencies. Many are. There is a mushroom growth of one is poor quality, and another one is self-financed colleges. There are a lot of self-financed colleges which are run by the student fees and many donations, endowments. So these are less equipped with necessary resources because of the lack of fund and many internal issues they may have, because so they are not having those all necessary resources needed for smooth running of these programs. Number 16 is negative attitude of college managements. Just now I have said that the privately managed colleges, self-financed colleges and private universities, education departments, they are mostly managed by the management or authorities. They are managing the things. They have the negative attitude, like profit making is their priority. In most of the cases, profit making is the first priority. So ultimately a negative attitude we can see, which impacts the faculties, which impacts the overall teaching learning process, and the quality also compromised most of the time. So these are very major issues in this B.Ed and M.Ed program. Next is finance issues in self-financed colleges. Again, almost the similar kind of thing, like finance issues. It is mostly run on donations, endowments, and student fees, tuition fees. So the finance, they have to manage the finance. So the salary of the employees are compromised, and they in different ways they do the cost cutting. So ultimately the employees feel less motivated, and which impacts their performance, and ultimately the whole process and the quality is compromised. That is another issue. Next is deficit in feedback mechanism. Maybe it is a government run institute or any private college or university. The feedback mechanism, we practice less this mechanism. We should focus on more on this feedback mechanism. There is still a deficiency in this mechanism. If we take the right feedback at the right time, mainly from the students, so we will get to know how a teacher is performing, and accordingly we can suggest or advise that faculty to improve herself or himself and put more effort in the teaching learning process. So if there is feedback mechanism is deficiencies there in the feedback mechanism, so we will not get the report how a particular person is performing his or her job. So that is another issue. Lack of dedication of pupil teachers towards the profession. The pupil teachers who are the future teachers, if they are less dedicated, like as we have already said that many of the times teaching to become a teacher is not the first choice. It is not the first priority or the first professional choice any person has. It is maybe the second or third or sometimes the last option that I have nothing to do, so why not do a B.Ed program and become a teacher. So in such candidates we will see that they are less dedicated for this particular profession. They are not loving this profession and coming into this profession. It is just to become some employed person and for getting a job, secure a job, and for some security they are becoming a school teacher or college teacher. So there we can see a dedication. If dedication is lacking, that it will affect the whole system, whole education system. That is another significant concern. Next is insufficient, sometimes irrelevant co-curricular activities. In this program, in 2 years B.Ed program mainly, in M.Ed program also some co-curricular activities are there, but sometimes these are insufficient activities. Maybe insufficient, there must be, as per the curriculum, there must be needed more co-curricular activities, and sometimes there are few activities which are irrelevant, which they do not require in their course, so which are also included in the curriculum. So that also makes the program a little bit boring and less attractive, and students find it ineffective. So they feel less interested in doing so. Number 21 point is burden of huge practicum. That is also, I am also as an educator, I am also while talking with our students, we get to know that the students are feeling that huge burden of the practicum. From the time when the 2 years B.Ed and M.Ed program started, for every course there are at least one practicum, any field-based activity, or in many papers there are more than two practicum they have to complete. One maybe for that is survey kind of thing, or sometimes you can do it any review kind of thing, any term paper writing, but they feel it a burden. Like this 2 years program, it was constructed, it was implemented for the betterment of this whole program, teacher education program. But if students are facing it, taking this program and the practicums as a burden, that ultimately it is of no use. So better to try how we can less the burden of those practicum and irrelevant co-curricular activities and insufficient things, and if we focus on those areas and try to improve those things, that will make this program more effective. Number 22 is objectives of teacher education is not realized. That should be the first point, that whoever is coming in this teacher education program, if anyone is doing B.Ed or M.Ed, what is the main objective of this program? There are many objectives. In my first presentation, I have discussed the objectives of teacher education program. One or two major objectives are to become a good educator, to understand the child psychology, to understand the individual differences of the students. These are the few major objectives of teacher education program. But if we are coming with a mindset that we are here for a degree and for job security, then we will never try to realize the actual objectives of the teacher education program. And until or unless we are realizing the what are the objectives or goals of this program, at the end of this program, what changes, what modifications, what are the transformations I want to see in myself, and what can I do for the society and for the classroom and the children in need. If we are not realizing that, then it is not going to be the effective program or effective one. So these are the many major issues and concerns in the teaching learning process and in this teacher education program. These are the 22 issues and concerns I have discussed. If you find any more relevant issue and concern, you can add along with this 22 points. So this much is for today. See you in the next class. Bye bye.